guys, welcome back to another episode of Sports and Stuff. I'm here with Riley in beautiful Chapel Hill, North Carolina, but a change of venue. We're at Riley's house this time. For those of you who don't follow us on Twitter, go ahead and give us that follow at SP0RTS, the letter N, and the word stuff. What's up, Riley?
What's up, guys? How's it going? Back. How long has it been since our last episode?
Was it May? April?
Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. Riley's back in school. I'm working, and in beautiful Durham, North Carolina,
That's right.
the home of the Durham Bulls and baseball. I've been to 2 games. So for our religious listeners, you know that we're not the biggest baseball fans, but I've made it to 2 games. Riley was at one of those games with me. So we're trying to broaden our horizons.
I've also been to a Los Angeles Angels game this summer.
You're basically an MLB expert, I think.
I am. In no way is our absence from doing episodes anywhere related to our sports interests. There's no reason why we just stopped talking right at the end of college basketball season and then didn't resume, or the end of NBA and didn't resume until, NFL season.
There's no correlation.
No correlation.
Sports seasons and our frequency.
Yeah, no correlation.
No correlation. What I will say is that for those of you who listen to our post Super Bowl episode, you might remember at the end we had a few hot takes, a hot take section of the podcast, and we wanted to readdress those and talk about if we still feel that way coming off a Super Bowl high as we do the week before NFL starts. So I think we'll just go one for one. We each had 3. So my first one, I guess some people would argue it's not a hot take, but it is a take. And that's that the Patriots are going to repeat. You know what? I'm willing to say they will, unless the Chiefs, the Chiefs are really good. But they're at least going to make the Super Bowl. They're at least going to make it.
Yeah. I don't think that's quite a hot take. I'd say it's maybe warm. But yeah, I'd say, I agree with that take of yours. I don't think I agree with the rest of them, but
yep. So it's doubled down on Pat's repeat. Riley, you have a Patriots prediction.
I do. A little more bold, but going to happen. Tom Brady will retire with 8 Super Bowls. He's going to win 2 of the next 4. That was my prediction last time, and I still agree with it.
So which 2 is he going to win? Is he going to win this year?
Well, I guess I just said that they could repeat. I have nothing against it. I'd say this year, and then 3 years. So he has 4 years. He'll win. This is like year 1, and then he'll win the 3rd year.
Okay. What if he just goes out on a three-peat? Won last year, wins this year, wins the next year, and then says, you know what, this game is too easy. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna switch sports.
Then good for him, but I don't think that'll happen. I think Patrick Mahomes will get the best of him in one of the AFC championships.
This is possible. I tell you, who we could see in the AFC championship is the Cleveland Browns.
Wow, that's the most false thing I've ever heard. But keep going.
My hot take was my second hot take was that the Browns will win the AFC North, and I think I could go. I think I could double, triple down on that. I'm certain that they'll win the AFC North. How far they go in the playoffs? That's really where the money should be bet, because it's kind of an open and closed case. They're the best team, top to bottom, in the AFC North. The Ravens are garbage. The Steelers have lost. They've completely crumbled as a franchise. And the Bengals will fade into irrelevance like they have for the past 3 decades.
Okay. I have a question. Because my hot take was that the Steelers would be in the AFC Championship. And I will double down on that as well. Now, I have a question, though, addressing what you just said. You said the Browns are the best team top to bottom.
Right.
And then you said the Steelers have crumbled as a franchise.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on how the Steelers have crumbled as a franchise?
They won't pay any of their stars. They're relying on a second-year running back to be their offense. Ben Roethlisberger has slid drastically. The team knows that. Leadership has expressed that, and Ben has shown that he is not playing his best, and that he is not as happy with the franchise as he possibly is. I think that this could be the last year of Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. I think he is definitely on the hot seat, and I think if they don't make the playoffs, which I think is a very real possibility, I think that Mike Tomlin can say goodbye to the black and gold.
I'll address the Mike Tomlin thing in a second, but the Steelers don't pay their players. I think that's pretty false and pretty built off of one instance.
It is.
And they offered. Did you know that Le'Veon turned down a deal that was more lucrative on a per year basis than his current deal?
I'm sure he
from
did.
the Steelers.
But he was obviously felt like he was not welcome there. He obviously felt like he was not appreciated there.
I don't think so. I think he felt that he wanted more money, and he took the risk, and then he realized he couldn't get more money.
I don't know.
And it was no going back at that point, because once he held out, yes, the teammates didn't say a lot of nice things about him. So, but
Right.
Prior to that, I mean, we offered him the biggest contract in running back history, and he turned it down.
He obviously just didn't want to play with the Steelers.
Sure. I mean,
I bet other people follow suit. I'm just saying that you look at the Steelers 3 years ago and the Steelers now, they are at least 10 steps down from where they were. They were constant contenders for a decade.
Sure.
That's gone.
Sure, but the don't pay their players is false, because you said they don't want to play for Pittsburgh. It's different than them offering.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair point.
Also, the Browns. So, the Cleveland Browns last year, what was their record?
3-4, I think. 3-13.
No, I think they had more than that.
5. I don't know.
I
No,
think
it
they
wasn't
had-
good.
I think they had 5 to 7 wins, somewhere in that range. I'll let you find it out quickly.
Seven and 8.
7 wins. Yeah.
7-8-1.
Okay, so they had 7 wins and they had a tie.
Mm-hmm.
They have added how many starters to their roster?
1.5 probably.
About 1.5. And so that 1.5 is going to propel them to how many wins?
At least 10.
And 10 wins will be enough to win the AFC North.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's fine.
Absolutely.
The Steelers have crumbled, though. The Steelers have crumbled, but how many players have they lost?
Their best one, and then their quarterback is falling off. They've lost the
quarterback.
locker room.
Their quarterback will not just fall off a cliff from last year.
I mean that's very debatable. We've seen plenty of quarterbacks fall off.
But what tells you that he's going to just fall off from, because his production last year was not that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but I'm just saying my prediction is that he's gonna fall off a cliff. I know that Mike Tomlin's on the hot seat, and I just don't think that they have the firepower like they usually have. Ben Roethlisberger has never had a season without an all-star Pro Bowl wide receiver, and we'll have to see if Juju can fill the shoes and be, that number one guy consistently, because every defense is going to key on him. Because I mean that's just how it's going to be. They don't have a number 2 wide receiver that's of note.
Sure. All great points, but they had the same team minus Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon didn't even play last year.
But one thing that we have to look at, is that the Steelers are down one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league, and the Browns are up one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league, with an already solid core of receivers and a great running back. Now, the hole in their roster is their offensive line. But you know who's won a Super Bowl without an offensive line recently? The Seattle Seahawks. And they did it in
But you know how they
crazy fashion.
did it through? They didn't do it through flashy wide receivers like Odell. They did it through defense.
But and the Browns have a top half defense with an unbelievable receiving core, a great young quarterback who has another year of experience, and they have
A top half defense is different than Legion of Boom.
I mean,
like,
that's
setting
that's
records.
true. That's true. But they had one thing that they were putting their money on, and they were better at that one thing than anyone else was, and that happened to be their secondary. I think that the passing attack of the Cleveland Browns is gonna rival the Patriots, and it's gonna rival the Rams. I think they're gonna be one of the top 3 passing attacks, and with Nick Chubb in the backfield, I think that they're gonna have one of the most prolific offenses in the league this
But
year.
you're forgetting the Seahawks didn't just have a secondary. They also had really good pass rushers. That defense was
That's
really
fair.
good.
And Miles Garrett does play for the Browns, and he's definitely a top 10 pass rusher in the league.
Oh, no, the Browns are going to have a great pass rush. They have but their secondary is suspect. I can't even name a starting linebacker for the Cleveland Browns.
Jamie Collins.
Oh, yeah, an outside linebacker. Right, but they don't have a captain of their defense. They have pass rushers, but they don't really have run stoppers. They have maybe like one notable safety or so, but they really don't have people to cover the football. The problem is the Browns had plenty of holes in their team, and all they did was add Odell, and now everyone thinks that they're gonna be this amazing team.
Well, they were already a fine team. They were already a fine team, and they added probably the second best wide receiver in the league behind DeAndre Hopkins.
Were they a fine team, or did they get hot at the end of the year and win some garbage games?
Let's not forget about the game in Oakland that was fumbled away. Let's not forget about the game at the Saints that was fumbled away. Like they could
teams have that every year.
They could have easily. So do you remember the Jack Del Rio Oakland Raiders?
Yeah.
It was a few years ago. They probably won 3 or 4 games just on the tip of their fingers, right?
And 12-4, and then went 4-12.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, if the ball hops in a different direction last year, the Cleveland Browns could have won the division last year. And now they've added the second best receiver in the league. The Steelers have lost probably the 5th best receiver in the league. And their only real challenge in the AFC North is the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm just not sold on them.
Their only real challenge. All right, so for the Steelers, they lost AB, and that's it from their playing roster last year.
You can't say that's it.
That's
because he for the longest time in the Steelers organization, he and Le'Veon were the offense. Le'Veon's gone, Antonio Brown's gone. It's now James Conner and Juju Smith-Schuster with a getting old Ben Roethlisberger and a reckless locker room. I don't think it's conducive to a winning
But
atmosphere.
it's not a reckless locker room anymore.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will. I mean, I haven't heard anything from the offseason besides what Antonio Brown is talking about, even though he's on a different team.
He's so crazy.
Dude's fucking psycho. But no, like that's what I'm saying. To me, that was the locker room. Like we always had the talent, But guess what? Tomlin and the Steelers with that talent still couldn't get past the AFC Championship.
So what do you think that the locker room is going to be fine and Ben Roethlisberger is going to be fine and that Mike Tomlin is not on the hot seat and there's no pressure to win there?
No, so I think Mike Tomlin to me has 2 years because this year, whether I like it or not, he's gonna have the excuse to fall on that. Hey, I just lost Antonio Brown. Like you got to give me a year to kind of bump that up, right? And then after that, though, that'll probably be Ben's last year's probably in 2 years. And so that last year with Ben is kind of going to be the test. To me, this is the biggest test of Mike Tomlin in his career because he was kind of he was definitely handed a Super Bowl roster. He went and won a Super Bowl. Then his GM and himself did a good job drafting and Le'Veon and AB, both third round or late second round for Le'Veon and 6th round draft pick Antonio Brown. Great draft value. And they kind of took that and rode with it, but they never really built the team around it. And because of that, they just rode with those 2 draft picks and whatever they already had, never made any adjustments, and so they lost every single year in the AFC Championship or got beat out in the playoffs, had enough talent to get there, but they couldn't get past it. Now they're gone, though, and like the past 2-3 years has just all been locker room issues. That's all I hear about from the past 2 years from the Steelers. I haven't really heard about their playing at all. I like that they're gone. I like for the first time ever we have people like yourself saying the Browns are going to win the division and the Steelers aren't in the conversation to win that division. I like that a lot because the Steelers need that challenge. Mike Tomlin needs that challenge because we've been expected to win the division for the past decade, like you said. That's why I love it. I love there's a chip on the shoulder of Ben Roethlisberger, people writing him off like yourself, a 2-time Super Bowl winner, only lost to the Browns twice in his career, and that team's going to win the division. We'll see. To me, you got Juju who's going to step up. James Washington's got to step up. But Vance, I know it's funny. I can't even keep a straight face with that. But Vance McDonald, I think, is a really solid target at tight end. I think Ryan Switzer has value in the slot. I think James Conner, people don't give him credit. He was a beast in college, and everyone just, he's just a college player. And then he came out and put up just as good a stats as Le'Veon last year, and everyone says that he's not going to be able to do it this year. And I don't know why. I don't know why people say that, but we'll just go out there and prove them wrong, like he's proved everybody wrong his whole career. And then we finally replaced Ryan Shazier. For the first time since he got hurt, we got a linebacker in Devin Bush that literally runs a faster 40 than Ryan Shazier and is killing it in training camp right now. And that was the biggest hole in our offense, our defense, for forever, was just no linebacker play at all once we lost Shazier. So I like where we're at. I like our schedule. It's not that difficult because our division's pretty bad except for the Browns. And because we're playing your division, which is awful except for the Patriots. So, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like with the chip on the shoulder, they're going to at least steal one from the Browns. They're going to sweep the rest of the division. They're going to sweep your division except for the Patriots. And they're going to come out with an easy 9 to 10 and 11 wins, which, in your opinion, is going to be enough to win the division.
If they do that, you're right. I don't think they're equipped to. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. But I'm calling it. Browns will win the AFC North. Riley's staying with. Steelers are going to make the AFC Championship. One of us is going to be wrong. Actually, that's not true. We could both be right.
Yeah, we could.
They could finish 1 and 2, and the Steelers can make a run. It's not going to happen, but it'll probably
be great if we were both right.
It would be, man.
Yeah.
I hope that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so do I. I don't care if we lose it. Well, I do have $20 written. Well, I have a friend who's from Cleveland, $20 on who's going to win the division. So that'd be the only drawback there.
So my next take was that the NFC West is going to be the best division of football this year, and I'm ready to back that one up. Okay. I think the worst team in the division is going to be the Cardinals. And I think that they are going to be. I don't know do you know who they play? What division they play this year?
I don't, but give the reasons and I'll look up their schedule.
I mean, you got two Super Bowl contenders in the division automatically with the Seahawks and the Rams. I think the 49ers are. I'm very, 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 very excited to see the 49ers this season because I think Garoppolo is an elite talent. I think he hasn't been able to prove it yet, but I think that he has the wherewithal to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
They play the AFC North.
So yeah, they have no challenges except for the Browns. So it'll be
That's funny.
it'll be fine. So I think that it's just going to be. I don't know that the only division that I would argue might be better top to bottom is going to be the NFC North with Bears and Packers and Vikings. The Lions are pretty bad, but 3 out of 4 is pretty good.
3 out of 4 ain't bad. I guess that's probably the best division.
You could argue the AFC South with the Texans and Colts. And Jags.
No, I'm not gonna argue that.
You could argue it. With Andrew Luck healthy, you could argue it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not sold on the Texans. And then Jacksonville. I mean, Nick Foles. Hopefully, I would argue more the AFC West if the Broncos were any better. or if the Raiders. Just kidding.
Watch it. Antonio Brown is going to lead them to a Super Bowl.
I'd be really, really mad.
Yeah. Old frozen feet. AB.
Old, can't wear the new helmet. AB.
Old milk mustache. AB.
Old calling out Juju, but still a Bears.
Let's talk about that for a second. That was the worst. That was hey, look at this idiot. He's a good person. If you guys don't know what we're talking about.
I think we talked about this on the podcast.
Did we?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I don't want to repeat for our faithful listeners.
Sorry about that. Well, we don't repeat content except for what we're doing right now. Except for this entire segment, we don't repeat content.
But the only problem I guess with your NFC West is you're just really banking on Jimmy G being kind of the Jimmy G we saw at the end of that one season.
Right. You're right. That is what it's banking on. And I'm cashing that check. I think he is an elite talent. I know that I'm not calling him elite, but I'm saying that he has the potential to be elite. He's up there in my book. He's with young talents like Deshaun Watson.
I mean, his contract says he is, right? So he better go out there and perform. Now, I think I was really high on Jimmy G. I actually said this in the last episode, too, because I thought the 49ers were going to make the playoffs last year. However, I don't know if it's because they just made me look like an idiot and didn't make the playoffs that I now don't have as much confidence in Jimmy G. But most of it is because I know he only played like 2 or 3 games before he tore his ACL, but he did not look good in those 2 or 3 games. However, it's only 2 or 3 games. But we're also basing that he's going to be good off of like 7 games. So we really don't have a lot of data on this guy.
That's fair. Talk about your last hot take.
Carson Wentz will be the 2019 NFL MVP.
You know, I could see it. I don't think it's going to happen. Was Mahomes MVP last year?
Yes.
I think he'll probably get back-to-back. Mahomes is unreal. But, there's just so many talented guys. You could see if the Bears end up doing well, I could see Khalil Mack getting that MVP spot.
But if I asked you right now who's going to be the better team, Chiefs or the Eagles, what would you say?
Chiefs.
Right. And that's why I think he can win. Because everyone thinks Patrick Mahomes is going to come out and do the same stuff. So if he just has a little bit of leveling off,
right,
and then Carson Wentz comes out and has a really good year, or just as good of a year, and leads the Eagles, who no one really is betting on to do that well, to like a 13 wins, 12 win type of season, that's how I see him winning MVP.
And I see that's possible. It could be TB12. Win this back-to-back scenario.
Yeah.
They win the Super Bowl. He gets MVP. Could be,
Yeah.
Who knows? There's a lot of talented guys out there.
No, TB12 will not win another MVP in his career.
What about Super Bowl MVP?
Yeah.
Okay.
He will. No, he'll win a Super Bowl.
Checkmate.
But he won't win another MVP because he's just not putting up like those kind of numbers.
He's gonna have
he's transitioning into a game manager.
I think he's gonna put out one like tremendous season. Like that's his try. It's the end of the three-peat, so I guess this next season, he'll probably throw for like 6,000 yards, and 54 touchdowns. And it's gonna be. It's like how animals have like the best day ever before they die. Like, Tom Brady's probably going to give, like, his retirement speech, hug Bill Belichick, and then have a heart attack and die.
Yeah, maybe. That's all a possibility.
Maybe. I could see that happening. A nice 6,000 yard retirement season that ends in a three-peat, and then he dies moments later.
Yeah. That sounds
feasible.
Yep. If that happens, then... I mean, you should just put like a bet on that exact
like
scenario.
Like a $10 bet.
Yeah, $10 on like 1,000,000 to 1 odds.
Yeah,
it'd be a good bet.
Yeah, it'd be great odds.
Yeah.
I have to assassinate Tom Brady.
If everything happens
everything
on
happens.
the field, I was just like, well, shit, I gotta kill my favorite player ever.
I have to kill Tom Brady. Well, it'd be worth it. Sorry, Tom.
But no, seriously, Carson Wentz hasn't been healthy since he was the top MVP candidate.
I mean, he's a good player.
He tore his ACL while he was the candidate for MVP, was going to win. And then that's when Nick Foles came, we beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. It was awesome.
Yeah, I remember that.
I
was happy for you, man.
Thanks,
You
man.
guys got one.
Yeah, we did. And we'll get another one eventually.
Eventually, 2050 is looking pretty promising.
We'll get another one. Carson Wentz will win a Super Bowl before he retires also.
Yeah, could happen.
But then he came up early off his ACL. He shouldn't have come back as early as he did last year, especially when we had Nick Foles. That was a really dumb move there by the Eagles. So he came back. He wasn't 100%, and because his knee was like he couldn't bear as much weight on it, it hurt his back. So that injury led to another injury, and so then he missed pretty much the whole season last year, or most of it. Now he's fully healed. It's taken a lot of time for all of his injuries. Fully healthy Carson Wentz will do what fully healthy Carson Wentz did when the last time fully healthy Carson Wentz existed, and that's when he was the top MVP candidate.
It's a pretty strong case.
Yeah.
It's just gonna come down to win count, I think, and win share.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't look like their division is going to be too
Too
competitive.
tough. Yeah. It should be the Eagles and the Eagles at the top.
Yeah, I mean, at first it was the Eagles and Dallas, but
Dak Prescott wants the moon.
that Prescott wants $40 million. Zeke's out in Cabo beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, pulling girls' titties out.
Oh yeah, that too. So is what it is. Do you think Zeke's gonna play this year?
Yeah, he'll play. He'll play.
Why?
If he doesn't, I mean, you got to learn from Le'Veon's mistake. I think. I think he, it's not like a personality trait that I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely like one of those super competitive guys that just wants to play. But I think that someone is eventually going to tell him that, you might as well take what you're going to get because like you're not going to get more than what's been offered already. But somebody when it comes to fame and fortune and everything, they think differently than we do. I think.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it in those big situations.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he'll play.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to say he won't because last year that was every fantasy owner's mistake. Who were like, oh, Le'Veon will play.
Right.
He never played.
Yeah, that was really funny. I'm not gonna get Zeke. I'm not gonna touch him.
No. I didn't touch Le'Veon last year. No one thought that was gonna happen but I just as a Steelers fan, I was like, he's held out. He literally said he'd retire if we didn't come to an agreement. And we haven't come to an agreement. I don't think he's gonna play. Will Zeke hold to his word? Basically, say he's not playing unless he comes to an agreement.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jerry Jones is not gonna fold.
He's a great running back. He seems like, a good competitor. But fantasy-wise, I won't touch him. I won't come close to him.
Oh, no.
Unless he's sitting there ridiculously late. Let's talk about fantasy for a second.
Okay.
Give me a nugget. What's your big advice for someone? Who should they look for?
Man, I don't know. I know you have a strong opinion on the quarterbacks. Why don't you give us
So I'm always a late quarterback guy.
Oh yeah, me too.
Always. And I'll tell you who's going to be sitting there really late. If you're in a snake draft, who you can get in the 10th round, and a guy who, if you're in an auction draft, you can get for $1, is Josh Allen. He finished the season. The last half of the season last year, he was the number one fantasy quarterback, and nobody wants him. I'm not saying that you should put all your chips down on Josh Allen. He's going to be the best of the best. But when you've compiled a good roster and you're just trying to finish it off with a quarterback that's going to get you some points, it's going to be Josh Allen. Go ahead. You use that late round pick on a guy like that. I think wasting your pick on a great quarterback early on and sacrificing running back depth,
Oh,
it's foolish. It's foolish.
yeah, don't be a noob. Do
Yeah.
not get a quarterback in the second or third
If
round.
you have Patrick Mahomes on your roster, I can guarantee you that you probably aren't going to win your league if you're in at least a 10-man league.
You know who I really like, just because historically how they do, and it's just Kansas City running backs. And they always, at least now that Kareem Hunt, Damian Williams is going pretty late for what I believe he'll do.
Right.
I mean, think about all the running backs in Andy Reid's system so far. Jamal Charles, when he was there, he was a monster.
Unbelievable.
Then they had some fill-ins. I think it was probably Damian Williams that filled in a little bit, and he did really well. And then Kareem Hunt, as soon as he's drafted, the first game against the Patriots, he scored 3 touchdowns.
Right.
He's unreal. And then Damian Williams steps in. He didn't miss a beat last year. He won a lot of people's fantasy playoffs that picked him up. So I like him in the third or fourth round, and I like shout out Josh Merrill for making this, telling me about this, but I like their third string really late. Can't think of his name right now, but like your last pick, get that third string Kansas City running back. But if you outbid me on the auction, I'll kill you.
I mean, it'll be a $2, $1 thing.
Yeah, I know.
So if it's there, I'm probably going to take it. Just for fun. Just for fun.
Oh, well,
yeah, Riley and I draft on Sunday.
Yeah. Last year, I was in a league with Neil, our pal Neil. Shout out Neil.
Shout out Neil.
And I auctioned up James Conner at the very end, and he $2 outbidded me because I didn't have any money. And then I auctioned up Patrick Mahomes, and he $2 outbid me.
Golly.
So I could have had Patrick Mahomes, James Conner, and what really hurts is it's a dynasty league. So those are the players that keep going.
That one's tough. That league, I couldn't do a dynasty league. It's so dependent on the first draft.
I know. I kind of regret it, Neil. I kind of regret it if you're listening. Because my team is not built for a dynasty. I also didn't fully understand how it worked. I may have Drew Brees as my starting quarterback.
Oh, nice.
But I have Baker on the bench.
Oh,
so.
okay. Well, I mean, Baker's going to outthrow Drew Brees this year anyways. That's probably not true. But it could happen.
Yeah. Anything's possible.
You know? Who knows? So we'll be drafting on Sunday in our auction draft. By the way, auction is way more fun.
Oh, than Snake? Way. You're not doing auction draft right now?
Yeah, you're kind of a noob.
Yeah, not just a noob.
Honestly.
But you're just missing out on a part of your life and fun that.
Yeah. Here's a league hack for you. If you're in an 8-man league, which sucks, you should get more people. But if you can't,
Please get more friends.
If you only have 7 friends, add roster spots, because having 5 great wide receivers on your team is the worst, because you're just like, okay, who's gonna get 30 this week? What the best thing to do is add flexes. That's my commissioner advice to you. Is add position spots. What the ESPN rules, you can change them for a reason. Make them fit what would best.
Gotta do it before your draft, though. Do it before your draft.
Do it before your draft. But if you only have 8 people, definitely at least add a flex. At least one flex.
And then next year or over the next 12 months, make more friends.
Yeah, just really try hard. Say hey to somebody on the bus that's wearing a football shirt.
Yeah, a football shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or jersey.
Just a shirt that says I like football. If they're not wearing that exact shirt, they're probably weird.
Yeah, that probably won't be your friend if you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, that's really the telltale sign. If you're listening to this podcast, they're probably not going to be your friend.
Yeah,
you don't know how many friends I've lost since starting to make this podcast.
Well, but yeah, NFL starting, college football starts soon.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is going to win another national championship.
I think you mean Sam Howell. of the UNC Tar Heels.
Well, yeah. That's sorry. I meant Trevor Lawrence is going to make another national championship and lose.
Yeah, I mean, probably more like an ACC championship
Oh,
and lose.
yeah.
Sending the UNC Tar Heels and Mac Brown to their first ever college football national
Going from
championship.
2 wins to 14-0.
Count it.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed or money back.
Yep, I'll sign on to that. I'll sign on to that.
Baseball isn't ending. Not really. It's 35 more games.
There's too many games. Aren't there? There's like over 100.
I was like, dude, this gotta be over because like
Honestly,
football's starting, but
the best
there's
part
like
of-
over 100. Yeah,
The
there's
best part
like-
of baseball
there's
is the Little League
180,
World Series, which is
60.
on. That is more entertaining. College softball, I would much rather watch that than the MLB. I mean that. College softball is entertaining. Those girls hustle.
Never watched it.
I watch it. Florida, they're good.
Well, I mean,
Don't fact check me. I just threw out of school. But they could be good. They're probably good. I feel like I see them on ESPN a lot. Alabama is definitely good. The SEC softball is just they're good, you know.
yeah, I didn't know, but hey, 49-18.
That's pretty good. Florida was last year.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Damn, Florida,
Those,
good job.
those Gators are killers.
Shout out Gators.
You don't want to play. If there's one thing I know is fact, is that you do not want to see the Florida Gators women's softball team.
If you take one thing from this episode,
Yeah, that should be it. If the Florida Gators women's softball team ever challenges you to a game of softball, don't play because you're gonna lose.
yeah, you're not just gonna lose. You're probably gonna get embarrassed.
Yeah,
Very
I mean
embarrassed.
it's gonna be at least 5-3.
If you have a job, you'll probably get fired.
Okay, I doubt that. It's just a softball game.
I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, don't work for Riley. He fires for arbitrary reasons.
That's right. If there's another thing you can learn from this episode, it's that.
Yeah,
I
don't work for Riley.
I fire people for arbitrary reasons.
I once saw Riley fire a cleaning lady because her flip flops were yellow.
Yep, and they weren't Steelers yellow. They were,
Yeah, they were Notre Dame yellow,
yeah,
and
and neon at the same time.
yeah, both. Well, guys, we've run out of content, so
clearly.
we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. It was a pretty short episode, but we really got our point across. I know we said it last time, but we're really gonna try to put out more episodes. With us living in different cities and both very busy, I work like 55 hours a week, but you know I'm balling, so it's cool. Things get difficult, but we're definitely gonna try to get it going again. If you don't follow us on Twitter, I'll plug it again. It is SP0RTS, the letter N and the word stuff. And thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.